What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hav here, one of your hosts from the Real Fan Review. And today with me, we got all the fellas here. We got my brother B.
What up?
We got our man in the chair, Al.
How's it going, everybody?
And we got my boy Sanj in the house.
Good evening, everybody. As always, it's a pleasure to be with you.
Yes. And guys, today, stacked podcast for today, man. We're going to talk about NYC opening up movie theaters and how we feel about that. We got Spider-Man with a title for the third movie, Superman coming back. We got Blade giving a weird rating there. We'll see if the fellas are cool with this thing. And we're going to talk about some of the movies coming out for March, since March is around the corner, basically tomorrow. So we'll talk about that and WandaVision episode 8. We're down to one more episode. So let's talk about everything that happened in WandaVision today. But first, let's get into that news of the week. Guys, first things first, we are New Yorkers. We are from New York, Long Island, New York specifically. Not too specific. You guys can't know where we live. But just wanted to get you guys' take because they actually opened up I think it's this week starting March. They're going to open up the theaters. Still, minimum people, 25% capacity in the theaters and stuff like that. And I guess numbers have been declining for the last couple of weeks. What are your guys' thoughts? Is this opening your ideas to when you can come back to the theaters? Are you open to going back now or not? Or are you seeing yourself going to the theaters sometime maybe later down the road? Sanj, what's going on in your mind there with the NYC open up the theaters?
So, there's a podcast about movies, right? So, in movies, especially like movies with wars and battles, right? Like that first round of people that they put at the front to like charge out and start the battle, and them is the motherfuckers that get killed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's not you.
That's not me. I'm at the back like, yeah. And then like, people run in first. No, but no, I'm not ready to go back to theaters just yet. I think we're at a point in the pandemic where I think we have turned the corner and things are moving in the right direction. I think we need to we've been in this for about a year. And change going on. So we just need to stay the course with it. So I don't really like the idea of going into movie theaters just yet. One, from a perspective for me, I want to keep other people safe because I work in a hospital, so that's dangerous. Working in a hospital is dangerous right now. I wouldn't want to be the one carrying it to a group of other people. Right. So that's why I really haven't seen too many people and going too many places and things like that. So I wouldn't want to be the one carrying it. So like, since I'm a high risk person as far as being a carrier, right, I'm not going to go into a movie theater and risk other people because of what I do for
Gotcha. Completely understand that. And how about yourself, Alan? What's your take on the theaters opening up? Does it change anything for you? Because I know you were very staunch in your approach, saying you're not going to go back until it's completely safe. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, same thing. For me personally, it's going to be the same thing. I think it's a good thing for the theaters as an industry because they need this. So hopefully for those, say, that are vaccinated, that feel comfortable going in, knowing that their theaters are going to be so controlled. Because I think what you said, like 25%, and I think at most they can do is 50 people in any given theater. So, that gives them plenty of opportunity to move people around, give them the space.
Absolutely.
For me personally, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable going in. Just from a comfort level, to Sanja's point, I don't know if I'd be comfortable going in knowing that I may get exposed or I may expose someone. So I don't know if just me personally, I'd be comfortable doing it. But I'm glad that they are opening. Just for theater, just to keep the industry alive, keep it going. Hopefully keep these guys making movies instead of prolonging everything like they have been.
Absolutely, man. And Brandon, you're like a 5-minute walk to a theater there.
I literally see it every day, and I'm like, oh man, I miss you. But no,
somebody's going online right now to look up where on Long Island, like plotting every theater, looking a 5-minute walking radius. They're gonna find Brandon, son.
Find me. I don't know who you are.
Brandon has a particular set of skills.
I teach music.
I'm like,
But
most
no,
all food in his stomach.
I agree. Like I feel like the movie theater. When we go to the movies, it's for the experience, and there's too much to think about now in terms of, am I being safe enough? Are they being safe enough? The person that is in the next row who is 24 feet away from me, are they being safe enough? Like if you have to think about all these things and you're not enjoying the experience, then it's just not worth it to me.
Yeah, I understand, man. I mean, I'm in the same boat with you guys. I don't think it's safe enough yet for me either. But I wonder if the situation right now would be different if there were movies that were coming out only to the theaters. Right now we're lucky enough where HBO Max is putting out the movies at the same time as it's going into the theaters. So we don't have to worry about, Kong versus Godzilla or Godzilla versus Kong, or we don't have to worry about Judas and the Black Messiah, Tom and Jerry, Mortal Kombat, and all those things like that. But I wonder if Black Widow came out this Friday coming up, would people still think the same way? Would they take a chance at it? And there's still hope that, Black Widow will come out on Disney Plus as on some charge extra base. But I don't know. We'll see what happens in May when that comes out and other movies start coming out. But right now, it's definitely not worth it for me. And also there's not enough quality movies to go to the theaters to go see for me. So, that's my take on it, man. And I don't know if you guys feel any differently about like what types of movies they're putting out there for you to go.
I mean, if they were doing that and they were putting out the heavy hitter movies, I'll just go get some Scooby equipment. Dead ass.
That's it. Hell yeah, man. So it's definitely a difficult thing, and I'm sure it's difficult for anyone who are, if you're watching this, most likely you're a movie fan. So I know it's hard enough out there to just do your regular daily life, and now to think about this in movies, you know what I mean? It's tough, but just know that you're not alone. We're all out there trying to go back to theaters as soon as possible, and we miss the theaters. We miss the experience of laughing with everybody all at one time and going, oh shit, together. So, watching these movies at home just on the floor is like not the same. So,
Yeah.
but the 4K is nice. The 4K, Al hooked it up. Yeah. Yeah, man. And now in other news this week, man, we also had some big news there with Spider-Man getting a title, man. Spider-Man No Way Home coming out on Christmas of 2021. It's going to be huge. And we also got some news about Superman being rebooted with J.J. Abrams producing, and possibly our very first, is it our first black Superman on screen? Because I know it's been the comics, but on screen, and where there's thoughts that they're kind of either try to get either Michael B. Jordan on the project to be the Superman there, because he was, I think he was considered before Henry Cavill or during Henry Cavill's time. I think they were trying to make a separate Superman. Just wanted to see your guys' take on both of those things there. Hey, Brandon, why don't you tell me what your thoughts there regarding Superman and also Spider-Man No Way Home there, the title?
For the title for Spider-Man, I dig it. I feel like, when we had Far From Home, and now that we have No Way Home, it kind of gives me the vibes that, Spider-Man's going somewhere that, he may not be able to come back from, not just across the globe. So that the whole multiverse kind of feeling there that we may be getting from that, I'm excited for. So I'm really happy for that. In terms of Superman, while I am a huge Michael B. Jordan fan, not that I'm against another Superman movie, I just feel like the story they started setting up with Henry Cavill isn't over. Like, I feel like the Man of Steel movies, I feel like they had a ways to go. So while I'm actually super up for, having Michael B. Jordan as a Superman in the Superman movie, I just feel like the Man of Steel story isn't over yet.
Yeah. Okay. And Al, how about yourself, man? What's your thoughts on the two things there?
In terms of the Spider-Man, they definitely got me when they first started releasing them. I saw it come up on my Twitter feed. And it said,
Spider-Man Home Slice.
Yeah, phone home or
That
whatever it
Zendaya
was.
is so clever.
Oh, kid, I was like, oh shit, and then they said official title, so I thought it was legit. It was coming from Tom Holland's official, Twitter account and everything. So they definitely got me. I mean, I sent it out to y'all. I was like, yo. But in terms of No Way Home, I think it's cool because this comes out before Doctor Strange 2, right? So this leads then into Doctor Strange, so it'll finalize in Doctor Strange. So he probably does get stuck in another multiverse or another universe or something. So it'll be interesting to see how they get him there, how he ends up in this other universe.
Right.
But so the name makes me feel that's what's going to happen in the movie. I like the thing with the whiteboard, the way they released it, and all the jokes that they had around the
really
whiteboard. Cool. Yeah. In terms of the Superman, I'm a little torn. I don't know which way to feel, because I do like the concept of, all right, let's have a different version of Superman and let's see how, because they do it in the comics. Like there's a Russian Superman, there's a this Superman. So it shows how Superman would have been depending on where he had landed. So why not? Why does he always have to be a white Superman? Well, let's see if he were of a different nationality and grew up with a different culture. So I want to see that aspect. But to Brandon's point, we're not done with the Henry Cavill Superman. From what I understand, the Zack Snyder's Justice League actually ends with a cliffhanger. I know they've come out and already. Not only that, they're still promoting that with a certain version of Superman. Why are you putting out there that you're working on a different Superman? Like, you still have a movie to come out with the other one. Let that one play out. Let people get tired of it or whatever. Then say, oh, by the way, guys, we're rebooting and it's going to be a totally different Superman.
See, when I heard that, I was thinking like not even like another Superman reboot, but maybe having Michael B. Jordan playing like Steel. Like when Superman initially died, his spirit or whatever went into 4 different things, where there was Superboy, and there was Steel. So I'm like, oh, that would be cool to have a Steel movie. But to Al's point, I'm just like, oh, a reboot, like.
Yeah. So I didn't know which way to go with that one. So I mean, hopefully they do it well. I usually enjoy to some degree every Superman movie. So
right.
Even Superman Returns, which was one of the worst ones, if not the worst one. I still relatively enjoyed that one.
Dude, he versed the island in that one.
Oh, yeah.
And he almost lost.
Amazing. Talk to me, man. You saw that title, No Way Home. What'd you think, man?
Well, I'm happy that they put out the title, so it gives us an idea of where the movie is going. And I think, if I'm with Al and B, it looks like it's gonna get stuck somewhere, and then that'll lead into the Doctor Strange movie. So I like what they're doing there. With keeping everything tight, keeping a continuity, keeping the MCU, together and coherent, I should say, or cohesive. Yeah, cohesive. Whatever. It's been a long day.
It's all good, man.
But no, the title sounds good. I like that they played jokes on us with all the different names that they were putting out and everything. So yeah, I'm ready for it.
Awesome. Yeah. All right, man. And as for Superman, man, any thoughts on the Superman?
Well, again, I'm gonna concur with the other guys too. I like Henry Cavill as Superman. I would very much like Michael B. Jordan to be able to play Superman. As a matter of fact, Michael B. Jordan wouldn't be my pick. I would pick our friend with the disrespectful triceps there.
Oh, he's playing Hawkman, man. That's Hawkman right now.
Oh, okay, all right. So yeah. But I would have picked him. Those triceps are Superman's triceps. I don't care what anybody says.
Disrespectful triceps.
Disrespectful. But no, I think there's still story being told, and we're already talking about rebooting. I don't know. They're doing too much.
Yeah, man. WB, get it together, man. Come on, man.
Oh, and also on top of it, they've got a new Superman series that just started on TV, which I thought was pretty. The pilot was pretty damn good.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've been hearing that. So, I mean, that's kind of crazy, man. I mean, I'm personally looking forward to Spider-Man. I'm kind of glad they went with the No Way Home title, because then it lets me believe that they're still continuing the story from what last left off in Far From Home, where he's running or he's like, what the fuck? So, I want to see something continue from that, not just jump into this multiverse thing. So it's almost like, I could breathe again. All right, here we go. We're good. And as far as Superman goes, man, I'm always down for another Superman or a different interpretation, because how many ways can you do this the same exact way at the same time? Bring something new to it. However, you three have already said it, man. I still want to see Henry Cavill play Superman again. I think seeing him versus Brainiac or somebody else, not Mr. Plex, please no, but I'm definitely down to see something else with him and just another try at it, because I think Man of Steel is probably one of the best DCEU movies still out there. So, would like to see a continuation or a third part or second part to it, because Batman versus Superman, I think is more of a different thing. It wasn't Man of Steel 2 kind of thing. So we're looking forward into it, man. So, well, hopefully we hear something soon about that. And then in another news there, man, I wanted to bring this up to you guys because it was a big conversation during the week that I saw online on, Instagram, on YouTube. And it's this idea that, Blade, which is a, character from Marvel that, came out a while ago with Wesley Snipes' version, and it was rated R. And, it was rated R due to all the violence in there against, vampires and different weapons that the guy used that were pretty insane. A lot of little blood there. There's a criticism going on because I think Kevin Feige had a comment about, Deadpool being rated R and nothing else in the MCU needs to be rated R. So everyone's assuming he's talking about Blade as well. And, I'm not too versed in the Blade lore of Marvel comics, but I just remember the movies. But, not for nothing, man. When Thanos ripped that thing in the middle of the head from Vision, that was pretty gruesome, man. So there's some things you can get away with PG-13. And I'm thinking also, if they're killing vampires and things that are not human looking, I'm sure they can probably get a little gruesome with it. But, Sans, what's your take on that, man? Are you okay with Blade being not rated R? Do you need it to be rated R? Does it mean anything to you if it isn't or it is?
No, I don't think Blade needs to be rated R at all, because Blade has never been about cursing or anything like that. One of the big reasons that Deadpool gets the R rating is because he curses all the time, and then the kills are pretty gruesome too. Yeah. And then there is sexually explicit material in it as well. It's not like rated R today is not what rated R was when we were growing up. Rated R was for heavy violence and things like that, and then like anything, it morphed into when you venture into things that are sexual in nature and sexually explicit or sexually suggestive. Right. And we're in the MCU, and other than the tight costumes on the women superheroes, there's nothing really sexually explicit or suggestive that needs to be there. So I don't think it can have plenty of violence, plenty of gore, plenty of everything that Blade is, without an R rating.
How about you, B? What's your thoughts on the Blade there, man?
I mean, I don't think it needs to be rated R. The thing that I've seen with the rated R rating that I could get is when he kills the vampire, they expected that something comes out, right? Like blood. And they're expecting the more Blade kills, because he has to kill a lot of vampires, the more blood and kind of a lot of violence on screen. I can see what they would do in our Marvel universe, and kind of like when Blade swipes through a vampire, it like bursts into like dark smoke kind of thing. Like there's ways around it, So you can get around the violence thing by making something and not have to be bloody. I think they're smart enough to go a route where they can figure out how to maneuver around that. But I don't think it needs to be rated R, as long as like it's him like not killing vampires. Like, like it's just like, I'm gonna just make sure they get hurt a little bit, but I'll walk away. Like, like as long as it's not that, I'm fine with that. Like, I know they'll figure out a way to make it look better, like whether they burst into smoke when he stabs them with the stake or something, like, like I could see them finding another way around it. But as long as it's not stupid, like Blade doesn't kill, like, because then you're just kind of being dumb.
He just convinces them to be nice.
Is that a not so subtle jab at Batman?
How about you, Al, man? I mean, have your trust in Kevin Feige allowed you to be like, yeah, it doesn't have to be PG-13?
I have trust in him. He's not done anything in all these years and all these movies that has disappointed me. But the R, I'm understanding why people have a concern about the loss of an R rating, because yeah, they can do something with when Blade kills the vampires, because basically even with Wesley Snipes' Blade, they disintegrated. They didn't like blow up or anything like that. They just like dusted, so to speak. But the vampires, what they did to people was graphic. So an R rating, you know, one of the requirements or one of the things that gets you an R rating is intense graphical violence. So unless you're going to now water down the vampires, you almost need an R rating in order to show them at their best.
Right.
So, you know, I'll trust if he does make it so that it's PG-13, I'll trust him that it's going to look good and go with the story. But I'm also curious as to what that would be that makes the vampire aspect not as graphic as it needs to be in order for them to be as fearful as they need to be to justify being the main villain.
They're kissing your neck, Al. That's what they're doing. They're kissing the neck. I make you a vampire.
Why? Brandon's vampire sounds like Pepe Le Pew. Oh my God, so funny. Sparkle.
I love you in the submission, okay?
Say what I am. Say what I am. You're a vampire.
Damn girl.
Oh man. And then the last thing, guys, I'm going to talk about today before we get into that WandaVision episode 8 that Sanjay wants to talk about. He texted us. He goes, can't wait to talk. We got these March movies, man. March starting this week. You know, I got a couple movies here to see if anything, these movies tickle your fancy, fellas. You know, we got SpongeBob coming out this week, Chaos Walking, Coming to America, Raya and the Last Dragon, Boogie, which I'm loving. I want to see that one. Zack Snyder's Justice League, The Courier, Nobody, and Godzilla versus Kong this month, man. There seems some good movies in there, man.
Yeah.
Al, man, any of these stick out to you that you definitely want to see?
Oh yeah, definitely Justice League. What else did you say? The Godzilla versus Kong. Yeah, kid. Yeah. So those two right off that list definitely is jumping at me as movies I want to see.
Yeah. And how about you, Sanj, man? Do you even have you heard about Boogie, which is like a basketball movie with I think it's either a Filipino or Asian American that is playing basketball, but you know, trying to do his thing out there. It's like a hood movie, but yeah.
I heard about it now. Now I want to see it.
Yeah, I definitely want to give it a look there. Give our Boogie a little shout out there.
Yeah.
But anything else, Sanj?
I mean, Zack Snyder's Justice League and Kong and the Kong versus Godzilla there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll take a look at the descriptions of the other movies. There'll be something in there that'll pique my interest.
Yeah, I know Sanj is definitely looking for Coming to America though.
So, yes, on Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, how could I forget? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Not this Friday.
No,
Friday.
March 5th, bro.
March 5th? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Friday.
Oh wow.
That's
He's here.
Good, that's awesome. It's gonna be great. How about you, B-Man? Anything in the March that stood out for you that you're gonna want to check out?
I'd say Justice League, of course. You know, I'm waiting to find 4 to 6 hours to sit on this couch and watch it. And then obviously King Kong vs. Godzilla. Like I gotta see it. And I think that's about it. Like, there's a lot of movies. Oh, Raya and the Last Dragon. I wanna see if somebody rents it so I can go and watch it. Because I don't know if I want to spend $30 or not. But I'm interested in seeing it because I actually really do like Awkwafina. Like I think she's hilarious. So I would see it. Yeah. I would see it just for Awkwafina. But like I would let somebody else buy it first.
That's very real talk from Brandon right there.
Listen, Awkwafina, if you're watching, like I love you. I think you're hilarious, but $30 is hard right now.
Yeah, man.
Girl, you ain't $30 hilarious.
Yeah, $30.
You was $3.99 hilarious. You ain't no $30 hilarious. You ain't no Dave Chappelle.
Oh man, too funny, man. I'll give you guys the two that no one mentioned that I think people should give a look to this month, and that's The Courier with Benedict Cumberbatch. That movie actually looks pretty intense, and it's one of those based on a real life event of a spy being created by, I think he was just a regular courier, and then they recruited him to help them with something going on in Europe, and also Nobody, which is made by the people who did. Oh man, what's the Keanu Reeves movie that he fights everybody and he's ridiculous?
The John Matrix.
Matrix.
John Wick.
No, John Wick. It's the people who made John Wick. They did
Oh, wow.
nobody. So God, terrible.
That's Tom Cruise. That's Tom Cruise. Wait a minute. Or was that Keanu? I
Oh,
don't remember.
Fail, Brandon.
Fail. Yeah, man. So listen, anybody watching out there, if you're watching on the YouTube or you're listening on the podcast, let us know what your thoughts are on those March movies. Are you looking forward to any one more than the other? Are there 2 or 3 that you definitely need to see this month? Comment below and let us know. Or if you are listening on the podcast, just send us an email. We'll gladly read that email out and let people know what you're looking into and think. And that's going to be it for this week. We were going to talk about Tom and Jerry this week, but last time we talked about WandaVision, it took damn near almost 40 minutes. So we're going to get right into this bad boy, man, because WandaVision episode 8, Previously On is the name of the title, was incredible, man. So let's give you the spoiler warning out there. If you haven't seen episode 8 of WandaVision, please pause us, come back, and we'll go over it and see what you guys think about what we think of episode 8. If you're listening on through, you know what's about to happen. We're about to go into some thoughts, theories, opinions, all that. And let's get right into it starting now. So that WandaVision episode 8 was just incredible. First of all, shout out to the time on there when I saw it was 46 minutes, and I was just like, hallelujah. Hallelujah. 46 minutes, guys. Longest episode. And I was like, okay, so there's gonna be some definitely details in here. We're gonna see something. And it's a recap basically, but done so well, man. And Sanj, why don't you set us off, because you set us off on the emails on Friday morning. I was all worried. I was like, I'm gonna block you.
I think Al did block him.
So wait. Did you guys find my emoji responses appropriate? That's my first question.
First of all, you sent that emoji of you crying within the first 10 minutes, and I was just like, no way. And then I put it on at lunch, and I'm like this, oh God. And I wonder if you guys teared up at the same moment that I did. So we'll get to that. But Sanj, go for it, man. Tell us your thoughts, man. What'd you think of the beginning there with Agatha Harkness's pretty much her opening to the show here?
Oh, I mean, she was so beautifully sinister. I mean, she had Wanda completely at her mercy. She's like, look, you trying to use your magic? That's cute. These are runes. Look at all this stuff here. Don't you know how to use magic? You're a witch. Like, what's wrong with you?
I like her little Kevin Hart take in the beginning. Oh no, stop! You're hurting me. Oh, yes, I got you. I was cracking up in the beginning because I was like, I don't know if she's taking this seriously or not, but this shit is hilarious. Oh, no.
I also like how they gave us Agatha's backstory. They gave really quick, and so that set us in the right mindset to understand her character, her motivation, and where she's coming from. And then I felt like the first 7 episodes of WandaVision just had us guessing. They were giving us so much. Right. But not enough where we could pin it down and say, well, this is definitively what's going on.
Yeah.
Right. And then episode 8 just answered everything. It was like, OK, so whatever you were thinking, now these are the answers to it. Right. And it's not just from WandaVision. It takes it back to all the way back to Age of Ultron, anything that, Scarlet Witch was involved in. To say, all right, now oh wow, she was a witch the whole time, or she had magical powers the whole time. She saved her. So how we know the story is oh, the bomb just didn't go off, and we accepted it that was the story. We're like, no, that's not what happened. Yeah, she stopped the bomb, and things like that. So just, that was incredible, the beginning there, and then, but that really got me when they went into that scene with her as a child, with the parents. They're having a good time. And then it just blows up.
Yeah, man. I think that's the moment that made me tear up, was seeing how happy she was just sitting down in a war-torn country with her parents behind her, watching some old TV sitcoms. Dude, when she looked back and she smiled, dude, there was something about the music playing and me knowing what happens, all these years down the road for her. And I was just like, Jesus, she's so happy right now. And almost like, damn, dude, you're completely blind to the stuff that's going on outside, how beautiful is that? You know what I mean? Like that's just crazy. But how about yourself, Brand? Well, you know what, B, we haven't seen you in a little bit there. So what was your thoughts of the whole, like, you know, you got the Agatha opening there, and then you also got the opening with the runes downstairs and everything. What's your thoughts on everything there?
You know, I was very surprised in the route that it went this week, because usually when you think of penultimate episode, you think that we're gonna have all this big action, and to see Agatha, like, just like kind of Sanjay said, it was just like, you know, like, hey, you're trying to use your magic, but I've got these runes here, you know, and it's just like she had no idea what she was even talking about, what a rune was, and it was like, all right, well, let me find out what makes you you, and just like taking this episode as a trip into the past to explore more about Wanda, which is the thing that we never got in the movies, which is one of the things I was looking forward to in this show, to be honest, was getting to learn more about Wanda, because she was so secondary in everything up until Infinity War, you know? And even in Endgame, she was secondary, you know? So to have her as a part of the ensemble, because we've gotten time when, you know, when it was Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, you know, we got all the ensemble. We got to learn about all these guys. And then you have Wanda when she comes in, and she's just there, you know, and she either causes trouble or she's so secondary in the fight. So I was excited for this series to get to learn about her. So for this episode to now let us actually into the Wanda story was awesome. And I think they executed it superbly. So just that scene where she just brings open the door and like, well, now let's figure out what makes you you. You know, let's get that down to the bottom of how you're a witch, and when we found out you got your powers. You know, and I think that was cool from there.
Yeah, man. And then Al, we get the recap there of pretty much Wanda's life from child, you know, to the bomb incident that we'd all heard about in Age of Ultron. Then we also got the rest of it there. But you know, Assange kind of brought it up really quick with the probability hex, or the thing that happened with the bomb there. And I know you said you had a take on there, because I personally took it as two things, you know, because the way that Agatha made it sound was as if she wasn't sure if it was a probability hex. She said it seemed like it. She had a theory, she said, but I wasn't sure if it was magic. But then again, you do see Wanda do this to the bomb there. So what's your take on that?
Yes, I don't know about y'all. I've seen the episode twice. When I watched it Friday, I watched it without subtitles. So it sounded like she asked her two questions. How did you stop it? How did you stop it? And then, did you run a probability hex? So I thought she was asking her questions, so to speak. So, but then when I watched it the second time, I actually put subtitles on, because you know there was a lot of stuff going on in the house. I wanted to make sure if I couldn't hear something that at least I could read it. And with the subtitles, so that somebody who can't hear can tell whether a question is being asked or if a comment is being made, they show the grammar. So they'll show a question mark or a period. So they showed when she said, "How did you stop it?" They showed the question mark. Then when she made the comment about the probability hex, it was a period. So she wasn't asking her, did she run a probability hex? She said you ran a probability, like she told her she ran a probability hex. And it made me realize, she actually reached out, and that's when she must have turned off the bomb. So all along, I wasn't catching on. Don't ask me why. I wasn't catching on that Wanda was all along a real witch. But it makes you realize that, she was a real, that's why she couldn't, fight back in the beginning of the movie, the episode, even though it was simple witch runes that were on the wall. And I like that they did the Agnes intro, because it made me understand now why Agnes wasn't just getting rid of Wanda since she now had the kids, because all along I thought they were just trying to like make her create the kids and then move on. But now they had the kids, so what did they need her for? And it was because all along she just wanted to know how Wanda was doing all of this.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's crazy. And then we find out later during the episode what all of this is, because once again, every week now I have been saying, oh, she's not the only one that's doing it. Oh, she is the only one doing it. No, she's not the only one doing it. And now I'm back to she's the only one doing it, which is insane. So it's just nuts. But then we get into the recap after that. We get to her being taken over, or not taken over, because she actually she volunteered for the Hydra experiments there. Sanj, she's there with the Mind Stone, and it's funny because I was, guys, I watched the YouTubes on all this stuff like that. You see the little hitch in the video when they replay what happened to her with the Infinity Stone. And then also, you start seeing that that's the thing that she did also in WandaVision. When Vision would start to ask too many questions, she would cut back to a point where that question wasn't asked. And then also they showed something on one of these videos where in Age of Ultron, she was walking backwards to kind of like get away from Captain America in the beginning of Age of Ultron. And I was like, oh shit, I never even noticed that, and sure enough, you watch Age of Ultron, it's there when they're first like in that castle in the beginning. And I just wanted to see if there's any thoughts that you had there regarding the Hydra part of it there that impressed you, even that glorious scene of Wanda as the Scarlet Witch early on, just floating in her eyes there.
That was my favorite scene, and honestly, when she saw the future or projection of her future self in like the Scarlet Witch outfit, and it was like the actual outfit, like for her. I thought that was super cool, and I feel like that's when the Mind Stone and her connected, and I say the Mind Stone and her because I feel like through that power that it enhanced in her, because she already had the witch powers, I feel like that's what allowed her to be so comfortable and loving with Vision when Vision first comes out, because she's already built this connection with the Mind Stone on that day.
Gotcha.
So then her getting to understand Vision, she was already comfortable, and that kind of made their love happen or blossom,
A connection there or something.
Yeah, because they already had it.
And how about you, Sanj? Any takes on their Hydra experimentation?
Well, it left me with more questions because I kind of understand what's going on with Wanda, but according to what we know, Pietro also got his powers from the Mind Stone. So they kind of just glossed over that part. So we're just not dealing with how Pietro got his powers. Now, Wanda has the connection to the Mind Stone. She sees herself as the Scarlet Witch in the future, or her future self, or an apparition of her future self, whatever it is. So it has that kind of power, and the stone gravitated to her. She didn't move to the stone. The stone moved to her. So it was like the stone kind of chose her and has that connection, like you guys were saying, with her. So now, where does Pietro? How does Pietro fall into this with him getting powers? Was she always like, yeah, break to the Mind Stone? Was she like, hook my brother up too? Is that what was happening, or is there some connection that he had to it, or are we just gonna gloss over it and ignore it? So it left me with that question.
Yeah, right, because they didn't specifically say that she had the genes or something, like a mutation or something that was enhanced by it. Because then you can say
they did. They did. I mean, what do you call it? Agatha? Did. She said, "Oh, it amplified what would have otherwise died on the vine," meaning her powers.
Right.
That's exactly what Agatha said. She's like, "Oh, so you had these powers, but you wouldn't have known it. You wouldn't have nurtured it, and it would have just went away. But the Mind Stone, what it did, it amplified those powers."
Gotcha, man. Yeah, I mean, I guess the only thing I can assume is that because Pietro and her are family, he had a similar mutation that for some reason gave him speed instead of being a powerful witch or anything like that.
Sorcerer.
But then sorcerer, yes, grand wizard, master. But which was pretty cool to see that, because again, like you guys had mentioned earlier, it was a nice recap to things that we didn't see and were talked about before in all those other movies. And then we get into I think one of the best lines I've heard in a while in their recap of what happened at the Avengers compound, which is where she kind of like developed that relationship with Vision in that compound there. And I think Sanj texted the quote there, which was, "What is grief if not love persevering?" Woo! That was deep.
Yeah.
That was deep, man.
So you see why I sent out? So you see why I sent out the memes that I sent? Damn, son! Like they just get you. And then at the end, I was just like, I'm not even sending out a meme no more. I'm just gonna send y'all a picture of me where I am, lying on the floor, contemplating this shit.
Just insane, man. So Al, man, what was your thoughts with everything you saw there from the Hydra, from the Avengers compound, and then even there we go into Sword from there. So what's your thoughts
Yeah.
on all that?
With the Hydra scene, it made me start thinking that that's how they're going to eventually bring in mutants. Because to your point with Pietro, the Mind Stone or the Infinity Stone as a whole, just period, I think brought out or amplified, as Agnes pointed out, amplified her witch abilities, her powers as a witch. But those with a gene, which is what Pietro had, it caused their gene to kick in, their mutation to manifest. And then same thing with Monica when she went through the gate for the edge of the hex. Same thing. It made her. I think it's going to be that's what made her abilities manifest and her mutation develop. So I wonder if that's I'm wondering if that's how they're going to introduce mutants all of a sudden. There's going to be something that spreads that throughout, maybe say the world or a good area. And that exposure to the Infinity Stone energy or power creates those mutant manifestations throughout the world. So I'll be interested to see that. So even though it's a little piece of, like you said, of a flashback, I'm wondering if that's what's going to come. Because even though Pietro wasn't in the scene, to your point, how did he get his ability? So that was just my take from that scene. But in terms of the scene at the shield compound, I like that scene. Obviously, that line was deep, but it actually showed why they fell in love or how they fell in love. Like you never saw it in the movies; they just were in love. So it was nice to see, like something he said that kind of sparked her interest. Because for a second, I even thought they were going to kiss right there. So, so it was cool to see that, even if it was just a 2-second clip. And then just the way it developed her backstory piece by piece by piece and showed how every little aspect of those incidents helped her become the person she ultimately became.
Yeah, man. It's absolutely
how about that
sad.
lie? The lie when they're in Sword that Wanda had stole Vision, and meanwhile,
what the hell was that?
Oh, but he was. I think that's what it was. He has, like he said at the end, we had put this thing back together 1,000,000 times, and all it needed was this. So I think he was trying to see if that's what it needed then. Like he was trying to stoke her into do something. Like when he made the comment, and he told her, not everybody has the power to bring their loved ones back online. I mean, alive. So like he was trying to put it in her head, yo, you can do that.
Dude, I thought he was gonna offer her a deal. I was like, that's Mephisto. That's Mephisto. I thought he was gonna offer her a deal, but he honestly, you said it, man. He was basically trying to coerce her into making it happen. He was like, let her go, let her do it, And dude, if I mean, we all know Vision's a robot, but come on, dude, they had him in parts with the wires.
Like the guy didn't die.
Yeah, I mean, like regardless of him being a robot, he was sentient. He was still a person underneath all of that. There was a consciousness, and he wasn't just a robot. He may have had like a mechanical body, but he still had a soul.
Yeah, dude, how much did they say that he was that they weren't going to put under the ground?
It was like $2 or $3 billion.
$3 billion worth of vibranium.
Yeah, dude, I would have took a toe.
That's all you need, bro. That's all you need.
I would have took a toe, dude. Cut that.
Vision wall walking all funny.
He can make another one.
But that's crazy, man. The fact that when she didn't steal Vision from the complex, the first thing I was just like, I knew he was an asshole from day one, like the director. But then when she didn't steal Vision, I was like, so did they bring Vision to her? Like, what the hell is all of this? You know what I mean? So it's just like, okay, he's definitely a dick, but how is Vision alive? And then we see the little letter in the car that she's driving. Her little Hyundai Elantra. Jesus, keep it real, Avengers. No
That's what happens
Mercedes.
when you're a secondary Avenger. You ain't got no salary.
Tony ain't paying nobody.
Tony ain't
Wait.
paying nobody.
Tony always
you on-
had the
you on
most
that PT?
latest. What type of car did he?
Yeah,
he
like
drive, son?
Audis.
Audis,
yeah.
right?
He had a McLaren at one point.
He
And it
had,
drove
he had the
itself.
salary list. He was like, B Team Avenger, 30,000.
45,000.
Just above poverty.
Captain
That shit-
America, you're like, he's a captain? All right, we'll give him 48.
Dude, and that should look like the stock model.
That was that base model. That was
That was the
before you
base
got to push
model.
to start. That was not even push to start.
Gotta roll the windows.
You got keys in the ignition.
Oh boy, Wanda. No wonder she's so bad, dude.
She's so mad.
No
She
seat
got a
warmers.
She had to get
No
a
seat
stimmy.
warmers. Cold as hell in the winter.
Imagine she made the turn, you get the screech.
Wanda's waiting on
the belt screech.
Wanda's waiting on that third round of stimulus checks. Like, she's like, come on.
Oh man, you guys are hilarious. I love it. But
good.
no, seriously, man. We see her driving off to Westview there, and it's funny, man. You drive in there, and I'm like, "Who's that guy?" I'm like, "That's not Herb. That's not Herb." And sure enough, it's him. The freaking mailman's a pizza guy.
Mhm.
The co-worker that he called a communist was just looking for the next paycheck, doing piano lessons.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of crazy. You see these characters outside in their normal setting and everything. And she gets to an empty plot. So like apparently Vision wasn't getting paid either, Sanj. Anybody know he bought a plot.
Nah, they
got-
didn't buy
they
it.
got
They
cinder
squatted,
blocks.
bro. They squatted.
They didn't put up walls. They didn't put up no walls. They
No,
got
I'm
the
telling you, they
cinder
squatted because look. Then the authorities came to try to be like, yo, y'all can't do this. They're like, nah, we in here, son.
blocks. I got this letter. It's from New Jersey, I swear.
They're like,
Vision,
y'all can't.
that's the best you could do.
I mean, they got in there and changed the locks. Nobody could get in. You know what I'm saying?
It's just crazy, man. I can't believe it. But anyway, we get the plot of land that she's in, and
Didn't get paid because he's a robot. Took him off the payroll.
terrible, B. Terrible, man. He died for us, man. He died for
Like-
us.
Like he's a robot. He got to recharge at night. I pay that motherfucking electricity. What y'all want?
He
You got
ain't
a
even give
place
him an
to
outlet.
plug in.
He ain't even give him a Tesla outlet. Nothing.
They got 120 volt. You plug it in.
He had to sit there all night and charge up. All night.
Poor Vision, man. He messed up, guys.
But you know what? I'm gonna give Vision his props though. Like when he pulled that line on, like, what is grief if not love persevering? Yo, he warmed her up right there, bro. You saw it. He warmed her up. And then he just left. Yo, he left her there. Yo, smoothest move I've seen in a long time. Smoothest move I've seen in a long time.
Crazy, man. Crazy, man. So then we get the scene now. This is the scene that kind of explains everything that's happening in Westview, New Jersey. Is Wanda is just beyond grief. She's breaking down.
Yo.
She reads the deed that says for us to grow old in with the heart that says V. It's just crazy. And you see her just lose it right there and there. And then you see this power just come out of her hands, her chest, and it starts creating pretty much a house in Westview, but then it expands out as a shot and it turns everything into black and white and into, the first episode there. And it's just insane to see that power. And then, you get back to Wanda in the house as it's being formed around her in the puzzle box shapes from the comic book, which was pretty nice touch there. But then there's something that happens in there, and that's the power that's coming out of her is now turning into from red to a yellowish color, and it's actually making a new Vision out of that power. which is absolutely insane, which kind of also, like Sanj says, this explained a lot of different things. Explains why when Vision was outside of the hex, he was being brought right back in and being destroyed, because that bro does not exist, which is crazy.
I was right.
It's nuts, man.
Well, I mean, they did the show so well where like you can guess, and when your guess was right, you can be like, I was right, Brandon. Well, I mean, like you didn't know. It could have easily gone either way, you know.
Yeah.
But
It's just nuts, man. I mean, Al, what was your thoughts when you saw Vision being created? Did that answer some things for you as to, what the hell's going on with him? Why he can't remember anything, no memories besides from that moment on?
Yeah, it answered the memory issue, but it brought up new ones. Like, okay, because to your point, everything she created with her power was red, and his was pure yellow, like as if every power that she got from the Mind Stone just now went into his manifestation. So is that going to be he's real? I mean, completely real, as long as he's within the boundaries of that hex. So is he going to have all of the true powers that the Mind Stone originally gave him? So it just made me want to realize how real of a Vision is he. So
Right.
I guess we'll find out next episode, because I'm assuming him and the White Vision are going to have to fight. So we'll see how much of his abilities he was able to retain from that manifestation. But it was a crazy scene to see, and it was cool because everybody keeps talking how this is the House of M storyline, and they keep showing an image from the comics where she's forming from puzzle pieces, and if you watch, that's how the whole house was formed, as like puzzle pieces coming together. So I thought that was a nice nod back to the comic.
Yeah, man. And listen, the episode ends right there after she creates the house and Vision and everything.
But the look on her face after she's done creating everything, you can see like she has completely lost it. Like she's broken with reality, and gone completely off the rail. But the episode also gave just such an understanding of the trauma, like just never ending trauma. And like you can understand why she snaps and just creates her own world.
That whole episode was all towards that, man. The whole episode was to remind you what she's been through. Because even like before the show started, it said previously on WandaVision, and it was showing us the scenes from the movies from, Pietro dying, her talking about her parents, also, the Vision dying twice. And then you actually see how it affected her in this episode. You can understand exactly where it led to and why, at the end of this, you see that Agatha kind of breaks her out and she's like, I know what's going on here. And she disappears. And now Agatha is out of the soundstage and she's outside, and we see the kids again, which I was worried we weren't going to see the kids no more. I thought the kids were gone, Well,
keep in mind with the kids, you talk about the color of power, right? So Agatha's magic is purple, and Wanda's magic is red. But like you said, when Vision was forming, he was yellow, and the noose or the tethers that she has around the kids' necks is also yellow. So,
I gotta look into that again.
So did she have to conjure some sort of magic that was similar to where the kids come from? Because remember, she couldn't control the kids either. So she manifested the kids from that power, but she couldn't control them either. So whatever she made Vision out of, the kids could be a clue to her Vision's true nature, I guess, or how real he is.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And so, like, Agatha has the kids right now by the neck. That's where the episode kind of left off right there. And Al had mentioned it before with the I guess it was the end sequence there at the end where we saw the new White Vision from the comic books, which looked pretty cool. The little blue thing. When you pause on the blue thing, it looks like one of Iron Man's arc reactors on his head a little bit. So it's kind of crazy there. But it just leads to me a bunch of questions that I have. So let's try to go through some of these questions pretty quick there. We have, first off, with the way that Vision was being taken back into the hex when he stepped out, and you saw pieces of him flying back, and now we know that he was created through the hex. Doesn't seem like he's going to be able to make it outside of the hex. what, Bree, I'm going to ask you first on this one, B. What's your thoughts on the kids now? Because the kids were created in the Hex as well. They were also manifested by her. Does this mean, like, are we going to lose Vision and the two kids at the end of this episode coming up?
Well, that's how it happened in the House of M. You know, the kids and the realization that them and Vision weren't real, they all faded away. You know,
Hmm.
and she actually broke down, and that led to the "No More Mutants" line. You know, so inevitably she's gonna have to lose the kids. Um, you know, and I think that's gonna be, I think that's gonna be the turning point in the next episode towards the end, in which Wanda realizes the wholesomeness of her power. You know, when she realizes she has to somehow collapse this to do something to stop Agatha. You know, I mean, in the comics, what ended up happening was Mephisto made souls for those kids and put them
Well,
in,
the kids were pieces of him. Their souls were pieces of him.
yeah, and he put them in real people, and you know, they ended up finding them, you know, later, and they became Young Avengers. But you know, the realization that they weren't real, and she conjured them herself, and she had to lose them, you know, and that broke her. So I think that's going to be another big trauma that's going to happen to her next episode.
And then remember in the Halloween episode, remember when they asked if they could go off by themselves? Remember she told them don't go past this certain street, and that was like near the border of it.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's a clue there as well, that I think they can't exist outside of the Hex.
Oh man, Al, how about you, man? You think they can't get out of the Hex either, man?
I don't know. I'm gonna go on a limb and say I think the kids somehow they come up with some way that the kids survive because they gave them powers.
Mhm.
Like, you know, Tommy started developing into what's his character?
Wiccan.
Wiccan, and then you had Billy with his speed. So I think they're going to stay on and somehow come out of this to be part of the whole Young Avengers that they're looking to create. So for that reason alone, I think somehow they're going to come up with a way that the kids survive. Vision may have to fade away, you know, with her coming to the reality that he passed, and they'll have some touching scene at the end where she finally says goodbye and he fades away. But I think the boys somehow are real because remember, even Monica said, no, they're real. Like when she
Yeah.
was saying everything that was fake and what was under control, that Wanda was controlling everybody, and they brought up the kids, she says, no, they're real. So I think they are going to be real.
I think Monica's power is going to be involved with getting them outside of the Hex.
Yeah.
Yes, that'll be interesting, man. And listen, I was going to ask you guys this. I mean, with this last episode coming up on Friday, it's going to be a lot to kind of like accomplish here. I mean, I'll just run down a list of things. We got to first figure out a way to end this thing, right? That's number one. Number two, we got Monica Rambeau in there. We got Vision and another Vision. You know, we got the kids.
Vision and Cataract.
Right. We got the whole sword thing. Like, what is their aspect of trying to end this thing also? You know, we still got a big surprise person supposed to be acting in this thing, which may or may not happen. But we also got a possibility of Mephisto as well, or maybe Nightmare. It just seems like there's way too much to deal with in one last episode. And it just seems like it's a lot of weight to carry. And granted, we all trust Marvel, but this seems like there's a lot of stuff to end up in a nice little bow by next Friday. Sans, what's your take on this last episode, man? You think it's gonna be able to answer and do all these things, or
I don't think I don't think it's gonna answer all those things. I don't think it should answer all those things, right? I think the purpose of WandaVision was for us to get a deep dive into Wanda's past, Wanda's history, Wanda's mindset, what led her to this point. And that a lot of at least the beginning of the next phase is going to be the resolution of what just happened in WandaVision. Because remember, we got Marvel every week this year, and you know, you're going to have Loki jumping around, so that might be involved in it somehow as well. So I don't think everything gets answered. I think there's a resolution to what's happening with Vision and the Hex. And I don't think we're going to see that big bad of like Nightmare or Mephisto on Friday. It may allude to it, but I don't think we're going to see that on Friday. I think the purpose of this was to set up Wanda and her role in the next phase of the
Gotcha.
movies, and I really like that they didn't go too deep into her character before, or try to pack it into a movie. You know, even
Mhm.
like a 2 or 3 hour movie. They gave us 8 episodes at roughly 40 minutes, 45 minutes each. So to really give us a good
Mhm.
understanding of the character. So that's all I'm looking forward to. I'm just looking forward to a resolution of Vision, the kids, and the Hex.
Gotcha, man. B, what about yourself, man? What's your thoughts on the finale and it trying to accomplish those things, or what do you really need it to accomplish for you?
Um, the only thing I needed to accomplish is, like Sanj said, the some sort of resolution for Vision. It's looking like next week is going to be Wanda versus Agatha, Monica versus Pietro, and Vision versus Vision. Like it looks like it's shaping up to be that, and that's a lot to handle in a 45-minute, hopefully an hour, even better hour and a half episode.
Just putting it out there. Just putting it
Just
out
putting
there.
it out there. I would love an hour and a half, but it's a lot to handle there. So I feel like what we'll get is a resolution on hopeful. I feel like we're not going to get a resolution on White Vision. I think we're going to get a start of something, of getting a Vision back. But I think we'll get a resolution on the Westview and the kids more so
Mhm.
than anything else. And then this Hex Vision, I think we'll get a final goodbye where Wanda never got one in Infinity War. So I think we'll get that. I think the story of White Vision is going to carry on into the Marvel universe as we go on. And I
'Cause that's
feel
the one
like,
that actually exists in the comics.
yeah,
Mhm.
and I feel like whatever happens with Wanda is going to end on some kind of cliffhanger that picks up in Doctor Strange.
Gotcha. All right.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, WandaVision takes place before Far
Far
From
from
Home,
home. Yeah.
right?
Because they
So,
said this is just weeks after, so it might even be taking place at the same time.
so
No. Before
I
Far
think
From Home.
it was
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
was 8 months ahead, after the blip.
yeah,
So
yeah. And this is just weeks.
and this is just weeks. So there was no mention from Nick Fury, Talos, of the whole Wanda thing, which was a good reason why they didn't put Nick Fury in this show. So I feel like this is going to end with Wanda heading into the multiverse somehow, and this leads into Doctor Strange.
Gotcha. All right, and Al, for yourself, man, what are you thinking about for this finale? You think it's gonna be able to tie up all these bows, or I know there's a thought out there that they may increase the hex around the globe, multiverse, all this other stuff. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that, like everybody's saying, there's no way they can resolve all these storylines. And given the fact that they've already told us that this is going to be resolved between Spider-Man 3 and Doctor Strange, I don't think we're going to see a resolution. The resolution is going to take place over the course of those 2 movies. So we'll get, like they were saying, maybe the kids, definitely the hex will be brought down. But I think what I'm wondering is, if, again, going back to before with the mutants, I think it doesn't happen in the episode, but
Mm.
they'll allude to it through, maybe her, to your point, like she has that realization that Vision, it can't leave the hex. So she
Mhm.
quickly does like a quick expansion to see if it works. And then, he has another sensitive moment with her, and she just dissolves the hex altogether. So, or who knows, maybe her expanding the hex like that is what then leads into Spider-Man. So it'll be interesting. That's what I'm saying. So there's so many possibilities. I don't think it's going to be resolved. There's going to be so much that they're going to leave at the end, and that leads into
Yeah.
the movies. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Listen, this has been a great deep dive into one of these last 8 episodes. So this 9th episode is just like topping on the cake, man. This is gonna be awesome. Can't wait
Yeah.
to see what happens. I'm almost like wishing that we could all watch it together somehow, some way, man. But we'll see how things work out. But it's just insane, man, because it's going to be a big event. The servers are going to go nuts at 12 a.m. California time or
Oh yeah.
Pacific time. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So it's going to be nuts. I'll make sure I download it when I wake up in the morning. But listen, anybody watching out there, you make sure you come back next week to watch our episode where we go into everything that happened in the finale, our thoughts of what it did and what it said and where it could go from here on out. It's going to be a great episode to talk about that WandaVision, man. It's going to be fantastic. So listen, guys, I thank you for your opinions, your takes, your thoughts. It's been amazing to hear as always. And we want to thank you guys for listening and watching on YouTube and on your favorite podcasting apps there. So we just want to say if you haven't subscribed or if you haven't been putting us on your podcast playlist, make sure you hit the little plus or you subscribe below. That way you can get up to date on everything that we put out there from our podcast. So coming from Long Island, New York, you got myself, Hav. You got my boy, Al.
Have a good night, everybody.
Got my brother, B.
Adios.
My man, Sanj.
Be safe out there, everybody, and we'll see y'all next week.
And myself, Hav, again, saying good night and thank you. We'll catch you on the next podcast. And until next time.